You are listening to the Atlanta Real Estate Forum radio show, all about real estate edition, shining a light on the movers and shakers in the real estate industry, the home builders, developers, realtors, and suppliers making it all happen. And now, here are today's hosts.
Good morning and welcome back to the All About Real Estate edition. I am your host, Todd Schnick, joined by my co-host and friend, Carol Morgan. Before we kick things off, we want to thank New American Funding for being our 2020 show sponsor, our 9th year on the air. It has been great to have them as our partner. All right, Carol Morgan, a return guest to the show. We've had her on the show many times over the years. One of our favorites. Kick us off, please.
Yeah, this is going to be another good episode with our friend and guest, Shelby Feinberg. She is the sales and marketing manager. Hey, she's the sales and marketing manager at Piedmont Residential. So welcome, Shelby.
Thanks for having me. This is so exciting.
Yeah, it's always good to spend time with you, Shelby. Thanks for making time to join us. I know you're awfully busy. So grateful for you to swing by and join us. Before we kick things off and see what's happening with Piedmont Residential, take a few quick seconds, remind our audience a bit about you and your background.
Yeah, so I've been with Piedmont for a little over 7 years now. I've been sales and marketing manager for over 6. So it's been a crazy ride. 2020 is definitely the most interesting year. I'm sure everyone feels it in their own industries, but in home building, especially in the first time home buyer sector of home building, it's been a doozy in good and bad ways. And so we're navigating new areas, not just from a development side and new communities, but just dealing with new issues that have come up with home buyers throughout all of this. So it's been great. We're excited to see what the rest of the year brings. And yeah, it's all good things. Everything that comes this way, Piedmont's been really fortunate throughout COVID and the pandemic of any strides we've been able to make. We're just really fortunate for those opportunities.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well, let's take a deeper dive for our listeners who aren't familiar with Piedmont Residential. Tell us more about Piedmont Residential.
Absolutely. So Piedmont Residential is a new construction home builder. We're building around 300 homes a year, all throughout the outskirts of Metro Atlanta. We're really excited this year. We have some new opportunities coming on to be in areas that we've never ventured into before, that we'll talk about a little later in the show. We build primarily for the first-time home buyer, but have branched out into the active adult sector of home buying, and also offer that perfect home for the move up, move down buyer. So we've really, over the last 12 years, have tried to work with our product to bring anything to the table in an affordable way to meet any buyer's needs.
Outstanding. Well, we have long respected the work of Piedmont Residential and the markets that you serve, and always impressed with how you do serve your customers. So congratulations on that. So these communities that you mentioned, I want to get right to it. So let's kick it off. What I want to hear about first is Brandon Ridge, which is in Gainesville. Tell us about that one.
Yeah, so we are so excited. It is our first community in Hall County, right in Oakwood, Georgia. We are bringing homes starting in the 230s, which is, I think, one of the best things about Piedmont is we really find a way to get into these markets and still build an affordable home. It's the core of our business. So we're going to be offering homes starting at 1,400 square feet and going up to about 2,200 square feet. We have 3-bedroom and 4-bedroom plans. And again, it's our first community in this area. So we're excited to be in the West Hall School District. And I hear that during the wintertime from this property, there are views of Lake Lanier, which I always think is great, to be in an affordable home near the water, but you don't have to deal with being lakefront property and everything that comes with that. So I can't wait to get out there come December and really check out the view for myself and see if what I've heard is true.
That is phenomenal. I was going to ask how close the community is to the lake, but obviously you answered that question. If you can see the lake, you can certainly drive to the lake and hop in the lake and have a great time.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm excited about this new community you have called Turner Village, and I understand that you'll be taking appointments for contracts starting this month.
Yeah, end of this month is our goal to start our contract appointments. Turner Village, I'm really excited about. It's in Woodstock, Georgia, and it is the first of what we're trying out as a maintenance-free, easy living community. So you typically see that with in-town townhome deals or active adult, and we're switching it over to single-family detached homes. They're going to be starting in the high 280s at a 1,700 square foot home, going into the mid threes, and we're trying to create this environment of really minimal maintenance for a home buyer. And coming from a homeowner, there is nothing worse than having to deal with homeowner maintenance, especially the unexpected. So we're putting together where the HOA will take care of all of that, from your trash service to your exterior maintenance, to paint touch-ups throughout the years. So we're really excited. I think one of the best things about Turner Village is it is an 8-minute drive to downtown Woodstock. And if you haven't had a chance to go, it is one of the cutest downtown areas. It's tiny and quaint, but has some of the best restaurants, really great shopping. And so we're excited. We're hoping, again, to be taking contract appointments by the end of this month and starting construction on some pre-sales by beginning of October.
These price points are blowing my mind. Great stuff. And you're right, Woodstock is such a great little community. But you also have a community in Kennesaw that I want to talk about, Pritchard Park. That sounds intriguing.
Pritchard Park is also going to be in that maintenance-free, easy living lifestyle. Little bit larger homes going into that 2,100 square foot, starting in the high 2s and also going into the mid 3s, the larger the home. Just like with all of our communities, maintenance-free or a regular standard HOA, we start with our base home with the idea that you can work within your budget. So you can either buy a base home and do home projects throughout your time, or you can go through our upgrade list and personalize within the options that we offer, all working, biggest point, within each individual's budget. So we don't try and assume we know what anyone wants. What that leads to is a lengthy list of options, but we think it's the best way to build a home and for that home buyer to really feel like they're not overwhelmed by price and not having to settle for things they really didn't want in their home. The walkability of Pritchard Park is phenomenal. It is right off Main Street on Moon Station Road.
Nice.
And if you're in downtown Kennesaw area, drive by it tomorrow. We have a great banner up on a fence that's going to show a streetscape of what we plan for the neighborhood to look like. And it's got 4 different layouts of our floor plans, or the exterior of our floor plans. And so you can really get a feel if this is what you're looking for.
I love that downtown Kennesaw area and
same.
Cannot wait to see this community evolve. And also love your approach to home buying and home building, where you can buy just the home you want. Because so many times, they're so upgraded that nobody can afford them. So having something that's just a nice basic that they can add to over the years, or if they can afford to customize it and personalize it some, when they're first getting into it, that's phenomenal. So thank you for offering that. I know that all your buyers appreciate it.
Yes. We're seeing year over year, we're always surprised. There's still a large group of buyers who aren't putting granite in their kitchen and they're not putting hardwoods throughout. And they openly say, those are things we can do down the road. And we want to be in the neighborhood. We want to be in a home that our family can grow in. And I just think that's amazing. Even if I didn't work for Piedmont, I would think that was amazing.
And
offering... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, sometimes it's that $2,000 or $5,000 or $10,000 that makes a difference on whether they can get the loan or not. So that's huge.
And it can be really overwhelming, especially right now with everything going on with lending. I mean, we saw when COVID hit, lending restrictions really tightened up. So even as rates went down, it became tough to not only apply for a loan and, go through the pre-approval, but then to actually close on the loan with the employment verifications being 24 hours prior to close. And so it really has been a great benefit that we offer in such a variety of price points.
New American Funding is committed to delivering home loans on time while providing 5-star service. Their 14 business day close guarantee and fully underwritten pre-approval gives you an unbeatable 1-2 punch impossible for sellers to ignore. For more information on New American Funding, call 678-898-3540. That's 678-898-3540.
Yeah, that's fantastic. Well, let's talk about locations for a minute. I know at the beginning of the show or before we got on air, you kind of alluded that you all are going into some new areas around town. Can you share some of those with us?
We are. So Brandon Ridge is our biggest one right now in that Oakwood area. And Pritchard Park, it's our first time in Kennesaw, in downtown Kennesaw at least.
I didn't realize that. That's exciting.
It is that downtown area. So we're really excited about that. And then be on the lookout on our website. We have a new community coming up in Milton called Millstone Park that we are very excited about.
All right.
So it's going to be a new product for us. We're hoping to be that low price leader. And there are only 18 homes. So as soon as we release VIP, I really suggest jumping on it because I don't think they're going to last long.
Yeah, going, gone. Limited opportunities.
No doubt about it. Shelby, speak for a second about the pandemic. It has obviously impacted and put a lot of stress on the economy as a whole, but the home industry seems to be doing pretty well, and the adjustments that we've had to make in marketing and selling homes have actually seemed to be advantageous in helping us sell properties. So talk about how Piedmont Residential has adapted to this new reality and how it's changing how you guys go to market.
Absolutely. Well, the biggest thing is the platform we're on right now. Zoom has changed everything. We did extensive training with our agents to get them comfortable with doing selection appointments, contract appointments. For years, we've been doing DocuSign and using those services. So doing all electronic signatures for our contracts was not an issue. But getting the buyers and our agents comfortable with being virtual throughout appointments, it was a learning curve, but it's something that we dealt with. And we're really fortunate that our buyers were open to it. We made some changes with our procedures for homeowner walks. I think the biggest change was actually through our attorney's office with drive-through closings, which I just thought was a phenomenal concept. I think it was so innovative of the attorney's office, and we used Morris, Manning, and Martin, and they really set up like a drive-through parking lot in their parking garage, and buyers loved the convenience of it. They weren't, delayed on anything, so that was really nice. One thing we saw that was a negative, obviously, was the job market during this pandemic and people losing their jobs. And we made the decision from the beginning that if a buyer was willing to hold on with us, we would hold on with them and delay closing until they got a job.
That's phenomenal.
It was a decision that as a management team, the owner of the company, we all felt like we didn't want, losing their job was out of their hands, and we didn't want to add any additional pressure to that by saying, hey, now you're not going to have anywhere to live, or you're going to have these issues come up. And so we had a few buyers where, we waited with them for a month or two, or if they felt like, this was just too much, we returned earnest money and just moved on to reselling the home. And so I think, Piedmont's a family company at the end of the day. No matter how many homes we build, the buyers are not just another number for us. We care about them. We've had so many buyers, go through and buy their first home in the 1,600 square foot range. And then they have a kid. And so they bump up to a 2,000 square foot range. And then they find out they're having another child. And so they buy a third home with Piedmont, all within the same neighborhood or close by. And that is just unbelievable. And so when everything hit and we started to see the struggle of other industries, we made the decision that if we can help out by just holding on and delaying closing for a little bit, however long it takes, we'll do that. And so That was really the biggest thing, was the employment verification that kind of put a hitch in our closing plans. But we were, again, very fortunate that for the most part, it has all worked out for us.
That's great.
Yeah, we know home is about family, and you're selling homes to families. So it's nice that you're putting families first. Yeah. And that's a great segue to talking a little bit about our show sponsor, New American Funding, who also is very family oriented and has done some really cool things during the pandemic to put people in houses.
Absolutely.
But yeah, tell us a little bit about how you work with New American Funding.
New American Funding is one of our preferred lenders, and they have been, I want to say, for the past 5 years. And we absolutely love our lending team from them. It's really nice when you have a preferred lender, because there is this element of trust of my closing's not going to get delayed, or my buyer is going to be able to afford this home. And, we're not going to run into qualification issues or anything. But I think the best part is that we trust our buyers are in good hands, and that they're going to be taken care of, and they're not going to feel like anything was hidden from them from a lending perspective. And we know that our loan officers at New American Funding are, if it's needed, going to handhold throughout the entire process. So that's my favorite thing. And I think as a whole from Piedmont, our favorite thing about having preferred lenders is the trust factor from us knowing, like I said, we're going to have the closings happen, but really trusting that our buyers are working with some of the best out there. And I think New American Funding worked really hard throughout this pandemic to work with, credit score limits were raised, and, a lot of loan programs were put on hold while I guess the lending world figured out what was going on. And so New American Funding has worked really hard to bring down the credit score minimums and work with different programs that they offer and figure out what works with each buyer. And our buyers are benefiting from this. One of the best things I think is their 100% financing. We have a ton of buyers doing it. It's an FHA loan, and there is no down payment needed.
Wow.
So I just think that's huge. Now, the credit score is a little bit higher. It is a 620 credit score, but that's still lower than what we saw some lenders requiring for a typical FHA loan back in April and May. So I think it's a great program. I kind of wish I had an opportunity to go through it right now with my personal home, but it's really great. And they've been able to take any government loan and bring their minimum credit score back down to a 580. And when you're working with the first-time home buyer, I remember thinking, credit score, what is that? Knowing what it is, but how is it affected, and understanding that. And I think it's something that first-time home buyers, while they may not want to admit it, it's still that thought in the back of their head. I'm sure my credit's great. It's kind of like, if you don't look at it, it doesn't exist thing. And so they have really great credit rescore programs where, you can go through that and be able to get qualified for a loan. And I think just working towards getting their minimum credit score as low as possible to help as many people get into homes is one of the best things they offer.
No doubt about it. It has been such a pleasure to have them as a sponsor of the show, because we've just week after week get to hear these great stories about how they're serving their market. And it's just, it's so encouraging. And yeah, I get what you're saying, how nice it is just to have that backstop as something you can trust and rely on. And that's got to be so gratifying in the work that you do. Well, Shelby, goodness, running low on time. Hate to let you go, but before we do let you go, should anyone need to connect with you or learn more about what's happening at Piedmont Residential, where do they go?
Find us at piedmontresidential.com or give our online sales concierge call at 678-977-2200.
Shelby Feinberg, Sales and Marketing Manager with Piedmont Residential. Shelby, dear friend, it was great to have you. Thanks again for stopping by and joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a great day.
You as well. All right. Well, that wraps this week's All About Real Estate edition. On behalf of our show sponsor, New American Funding, my co-host, Carol Morgan, I am Todd Schnick. It's all the time we have for today. Thank you for tuning in and listening, and we'll look forward to seeing you again right here tomorrow. We'll see you then.
Atlanta Real Estate Forum Radio is made possible by Denim Marketing, the publisher of Atlanta Real Estate Forum, Atlanta's favorite source for real estate and home building news. Denim Marketing is a comfortable fit, like your favorite pair of jeans. Denim Marketing tailors marketing strategies to meet your specific needs and niche. Try them on for size. They will work to create a perfect fit for your company's marketing program. Call them at 770-383-3360 or send an email to info@denimmarketing.com. For more information on Atlanta Real Estate Forum Radio or to inquire about being a guest, contact info@atlantarealestateforum.com. Check out the radio show by visiting atlantarealestateforum.com or by listening to the show on your favorite podcast app. And if you enjoyed today's broadcast, we'd sure appreciate a rating and review on iTunes. Thank you again for listening, and we'll see you next time on Atlanta Real Estate Forum Radio.